And I'm here to present to you today the next generation of healthcare, SenseHealth, the connected human. Founded in Delaware in 2019, and we've been operating ever since, developing our prototypes and technology for this market. COVID, recognizing that the current healthcare model was not sufficient for what was happening. You had people in lockdown, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't do anything, couldn't see your doctor. So the problem right now is that clinicians, doctors mostly, don't have a very good tool to monitor and measure their patients' vital signs remotely. And the SenseHealth Patch was designed to solve this problem, kind of like a Star Trek tricorder, but in the hands of the patient. So the patient wears the patch, and then the doctor can get diagnostic data to make a decision. So if you were home and you were sick and you had COVID or something like that, the doctor could monitor your vital signs and get real feedback. Whereas today, you just call your doctor on the phone, tell them how you feel, and then the doctor has to make a diagnosis to give you antibiotics, come into the office, get another test, go to the hospital, or something like that, without having any real data. And they're billing for it because the FDA has approved that telemedicine function under COVID. Growth and generation of the SenseHealth technology. The first prototype that we built was a plus sign shaped device. It was really designed to prove that we could scale the technology down into a format that would be sufficient to wear on the body. The second generation device was a bit bigger, and it had flexible tabs for the ECG electrodes that we were using at that time. And that was designed to be better wearable and placeable on the body. And subsequently, we found that that device was too large for most people, especially when you take into account women who are larger. And that led us to the V3 device that we're building now, and we expect actually the prototypes to arrive from China any day now. And that device is much smaller. It's an easily adaptable patch. It's very much like a Band-Aid with a small electronic box attached to it. And that's what we're working on now, and we expect that to be done. And that's really the production model. Very few changes are expected to be made to this device before being ready to go to market. So we're at that market ready stage. Myself, I've been a technology veteran for more than 30 years. I've founded a number of different companies. One of my best successes is a company called Veridium ID. That specialized in biometric authentication using smartphones and other devices to authenticate people for financial transactions. We sold that company. Actually, the company had raised about $180 million as of 2021. I think the value of that company right now is north of 800 million. It's based out of Europe and London, and I think they're looking to exit the company sometime this year or next year. Chuck Goldman was a 10-year veteran of Apple, worked for Steve Jobs directly for 4 years, at which time he had the benefit of releasing the iPhone into the enterprise market, and he and his team created the first enterprise Apple store that was not part of Apple's App Store, and he's been with me ever since, working on different companies and expanding. We had a company called Aperion that Steve invested in, and we exited that company for 40 million. Virel, Aurora, and Jeffrey have been with me on various different companies and teams ever since. They're highly experienced at what they do. Vio's a software developer extraordinaire. I met him when he was 16, and he stayed with me ever since. Aurora speaks more than 7 languages and has a master's degree in business management. Used to work for Nintendo. She now works for us remotely and manages Japan's drone regulatory body. Um, Jeffrey Chow has been working with me. He's a great project manager, Mandarin Chinese fluent, and software development expert. And he's also really excellent. So this is the executive advisory board. William Way is the CTO of Foxconn. He's a good friend of Jason, myself, and Chuck Goldman. Um, and as you know, Foxconn is one of the largest companies in the world. He is waiting for us to get revenue so that we can potentially exit the company to interested parties in Taiwan and elsewhere that are in the same business. Stephanie Trunzo is the Global Vice President of Digital Transformation and Healthcare at Oracle. She's been a supporter of the company and helping us develop our technology. And currently she's waiting for us to migrate the technology from Amazon's AWS over to Oracle's platform so that she can market us through the Oracle landscape. And Dove Schwartz is owned a company called On.Care, which owned about 90% of the nursing home market for software billing and resources. Their technology allowed nursing homes to save money by ordering and supplying all of their billing online. Having said that, the idea is that they could help us get customers within the nursing home market by providing access to us to those markets. A little bit about all the things that we do and the unique features of the SenseHealth Patch. So there's unlimited time monitoring. It's a rechargeable device. It does not get thrown out like some of our competitor devices. It has patient location tracking within, say, the hospital environment, a hospital campus, or any other enterprise location. You can track the patient to within 1 meter of where that patient is, so no losing anybody anymore. You can have an unlimited number of devices attached to the system, so it can monitor, 1,000 at a hospital or 10 million in a country. Really makes no difference. It's IP67 we're shooting for at the moment, so we're looking at something that's rainproof, splash-proof. Eventually, we were hoping to get to an IP68 rating where it will be waterproof and you can wear it in the shower and things like that. The main problem with that is the stickiness of the patch and the durability in water settings where it degrades rather quickly. So having said that, we think that that's something we can work towards in the future. It has a 3-axis accelerometer built into it, so it can detect posture. Are you sitting? Are you laying down? Or have you fallen? So those are very important functions. It tracks, of course, all the normal sports watch type things like walking, calories, steps, exercise, things like that. The more important things that it captures are pulse oximetry. So how is your blood oxygen level? What is your blood pressure? Your temperature? The 3-lead ECG? And various different types of cardiovascular arrhythmias are able to be detected. We have about 12 to 15 that we can detect. Again, this is not an advanced medical grade device, so we have to take those measurements with caution. But right now, tracking the basics like bradycardia, tachycardia, atrial fibrillation, PVCs, those types of things are very accurate. And we hope to get FDA approval for one or more of those functions along the way. Some of the simpler ones that we can track that are very useful are things like sleep apnea, your sleep score, and all the other health metrics that are interesting to people who are athletic or health conscious. And certainly passing that information along to your doctor initially until we have FDA approval is something that people can do. So this would be sold as a athletic slash healthcare management for personal use with a disclosure that says that this is a non-FDA approved, not a medical device, and that you can use the data, but you should always consult your doctor until such time that we get an FDA approval, and then we'll be able to be selling it as a medical grade device. Quick about this slide. The SenseHealth platform was developed on Amazon Web Services initially, and we leveraged Amazon's existing HIPAA compliant environment. So right out of the gate, from a software perspective, connectivity management device perspective, our technology should pass for HIPAA compliance, which provides us with an advanced level of privacy and security for our data. And we think meeting those requirements is sufficient for the consumer environment that we're entering. Just a little bit about some of our competitors in the market landscape. Some of the big companies that are in the market today are AliveCor with a cardiomobile device, which is being advertised all over the TV right now in the United States. They've gone through three different iterations of their device. The company has been around for a very long time. Initially, it started by a doctor who raised some money, and they've since gone through a variety of different technologies until they finally settled on a 2-lead device that takes your ECG for mostly atrial fibrillation. Having raised $154 million to develop such a simple device like that, to me, is just incredible on the corporate side, but crazy on the financial side. So if they can raise that much money to develop a device that just tracks a simple 2-lead ECG, means that we have a much bigger potential. And we've done a tremendous amount more than them with a lot less. So that's their device. Today they built a 6-lead ECG. That 6-lead ECG device did not go well with consumers because the 6-lead function didn't work. It required you to take the device and then put it either on your knee or on your ankle, which was weird. People couldn't get it to work. Now they've reduced the size of the device to a credit card size device with an embedded battery that fits easily in your wallet. Take it out. It's Bluetooth connected, and you just tap the 2 leads on it and it takes your ECG, and it seems to me that that's what they're pushing right now, which is really a very cost-effective device. I would estimate it costs them less than $15 to make each one of those. And then Vital Connect is another company. They've been around for a very long time. As you can see, Series A, B, C plus debt financing up to 86 million. They've built a device that was initially bought from Philips in Europe, then they sold it back to Philips 2 years later, then they bought it back from Philips 2 years after that. It's a similar patch type device to what we've built with less functionality. They have yet to bring it to market at all. I've never seen a functioning version of it, so I'm not sure exactly where that technology is going. And the Zeo by iRhythm is maybe the most successful of all of these. It's a 1-lead ECG patch that you wear for 14 days. Captures telemetry like a Holter monitor, and then you take the device back to the doctor's office where they take it off, attach it to a computer, upload the data to iRhythm's website, where it's analyzed, and a report is then generated and given back to the doctor. All in all, this is a very good device. They're a public company. They've raised north of $500 million about, and the company's worth about $2 to $3 billion at today's valuation. They sell about 200 to 300,000 of these devices a month, which is really significant. It's the FDA approval that they have for usage, and they're selling it to mostly cardiologists in the United States, and I believe they started marketing it in Canada and are looking at the European market as well. So very limited functionality, no real-time telemetry, none of the other functions that we do. And the device, by the way, is disposable, so you throw it out. You can't use it again. To me, that's a waste of money. In any case, that's what the current landscape looks like. Hey, okay, so this is perhaps the most important slide in my presentation. Bottom line is SenseHealth is a company founded by people who didn't need to raise a lot of money. We know how to manage corporations, we know how to build products, and we know how to take them to market. We didn't have wasteful investment of millions of dollars hiring hundreds of people all over the place and developing software and hardware that was unnecessary and doing trials. We knew exactly what we wanted to build and how to bring it to market. To date, the company's invested about $200,000 to build our technology, which is really as amazing as the other companies who raised, north of $100 million and built less. We did the opposite. We used a small amount of money to build something amazing. And right now we're pre-go to market. We're just at that stage where we're looking to, get the product itself into a shape and form that the consumer will like. We want to put it in a box, doctor at home, something like that, do all the packaging and material, get it ready for the US market, and then start selling it on our website initially, and then through channel providers that we can find. The company's looking to raise $2 million for that effort. It will also go towards about 6 months of software development during the time that we are getting our packaging and manufacturing in Shenzhen in order. I would tell you ahead of time that COVID has made it very difficult to travel to China, and had I been in China, we would have gotten this done much sooner. So one of the things that we're doing is we're looking for someone in Shenzhen who can be on site as a project manager to oversee the development and translate our needs and vision directly to our Chinese manufacturing partners. That to us is a very important function. Otherwise, we're nearly ready to go to market, and that's it. So this is the final slide. I thought it would be nice, very cool that, PowerPoint put me in a circle right next to Chuck's head with his statement, and I can look at him. Hey, Chuck, how you doing? We've worked together for a long time, and as the slide says, we've raised more than $300 million for various groups and companies that we've developed and worked for. He's my closest friend, and he's a genius when it comes to putting all of these things together, and we look forward to working with you.